What is up, ladies and gentlemen? But most of all, you ladies out there, thanks for clicking on another episode of Break the Silence. I am your host, Cyborg. Giannis says LeBron is still the best player in the NBA. We discuss next. Split cow! It has been a slow news cycle for the NBA, but I want to talk some hoops, so let's do it anyway. We had Giannis Antetokounmpo come out and say that LeBron James is still the best player in the world at basketball. And that's super crazy to hear. I'll read his direct quote in a second, but first, please take a second to like and subscribe to the channel. We're growing super fast. As you can see, we're up over 300 subscribers. I think last time I checked, we were over 330, and we're going to keep heading in that direction. We're headed for 4, then we're headed for 5, and so on and so forth. I appreciate all the support so far. Let's keep grinding, keep growing. One of the coolest things is I was out in public a couple days ago, and someone walked up to me and was like, "You look familiar to me." And I was like, yeah, I'm the basketball guy. And they said, no, that's not it. Are you the kid from that meme? And I'm gonna post that meme right here. No, that's not me. That is not me. That is someone else. That is some other kid. So that's not me. I still have not been recognized in public for this. Just a joke there. But let's get straight into it. Giannis Antetokounmpo said, and it's a little hard to read just because Giannis is language. It's interesting to me how LeBron is still one of the best shapes in his life and being the best player in the world and still being in year 18. Now, LeBron just finished year 19, so he's a year off. No worries there. But I got my Bucks jersey on, which is actually a Ray Allen jersey. I got my LeBron jersey back here. So let's talk about them. And basically what I want to do is just celebrate the greatness of both of these players, because when we hear topics like this, most of the time it turns into a massive debate. We're talking about, no way LeBron's top player. Yeah, LeBron's the top player. He's way better than the rest of these bums. So it's just this, like, a lot of times it just becomes stupid debate. But I want to talk about, because I think the fact that LeBron is still in these discussions at year 19, year 20, is really a testament to his greatness and the way he takes care of himself and just the greatness of LeBron James. But I also think these comments are a testament to the greatness of Giannis Antetokounmpo and what makes him special and what makes him great. Giannis, after winning his first MVP, said, "Don't call me MVP till I win a second." Giannis, after winning a second, said, "Don't call me MVP till I win an NBA championship." Giannis now has 2 MVPs, an NBA Finals MVP, including 50 points in the closeout game against the Suns in one of the greatest finals performances we've seen, at least in the last 20 years. And Giannis, again, sets another bar for himself, because that's what Giannis does, and that's what makes him so great. Even when he achieves something, he wants to achieve something else. He wants to achieve something else. And that's truly a testament to Giannis's greatness. And that's why I think he's so good for the NBA. When you look at when Giannis came in the league from Greece, he was so raw and he was so thin and tall and lanky. And his skill set was, fairly limited. As Giannis has worked and developed, he has become a truly incredible basketball player. And you're talking about a guy who now has the potential, and I'm not saying he's there yet, but he has the potential to put himself in top 10 all-time discussions. If Giannis wins a few more MVPs, few more championships, he has the potential to put himself in those discussions. And when you look at him, when he first came into the league, when he was a 14th or 15th pick, that would have been crazy to say at the time. But that's how hard he works. And you see his dribbling has improved. His playmaking has dramatically improved. I think Giannis is a pretty good passer. If Chris Middleton would have been healthy in that playoff series against the Celtics, that would have been, I think this whole playoffs would have been different if Chris Middleton had been healthy for the Bucks. Giannis had a lot of guys open shots. They just weren't hitting. But Giannis's shooting has improved. Now, still want to see a little more improvement from the three-point line mid-range game, but it's improved dramatically. But that's the mindset that Giannis has, and the mindset that I think we should all have. That when we accomplish something, let's celebrate that, but then let's set a new goal. Let's set a new goal and let's keep trying to improve and be the best versions of ourselves and go forward from there. So, but let's flip this a little bit and talk about LeBron James. Because I think that this is, like I said earlier, testament to LeBron's greatness that he's still in these discussions. Now, for me at the current moment, and like I said, I don't want to give too many spoilers because I'm going to release my top 50 players soon. LeBron is not the number one player in the league anymore at this point, but he's still definitely in your top 10, potentially top 5. Like I said, don't want to be specific, but that's truly unbelievable when you're looking at year 19. So last year, LeBron in year 19 averaged 30.3 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 6.2 assists on 52.4% field goal percentage. Those are ungodly numbers when you're looking at it for a guy in year 19. These numbers here would be the best in like 95% of, probably 98% of NBA players' career. And he did it in year 19. When you're looking at it, the best season that anyone had ever had in year 19 prior to LeBron, Kareem averaged 14.6 points, then Melo averaged 12, and then John Stockton averaged 10.8. LeBron averaged 30.3. I just want you to think about that for a second. Now, a lot of you potentially, and a lot of people spend a lot of time saying LeBron's the GOAT or trying to tear LeBron down. So everyone feels so strongly about LeBron that we hardly ever sit around and just appreciate that he's still in the league and he's still so fun to watch and so dominant and so all the great things he's done for the NBA and the game of basketball, because we spend too much time trying to tear him down or lift him up. LeBron, I think the greatest thing when you're talking about LeBron James's legacy is the fact that he has dominated the NBA and been in these discussions as best player in the NBA for the last 15 years. Now, you could have years you could argue Kobe was the best player in, like 2010. You could argue Tim Duncan maybe was the best player a couple years. You could argue Steph, KD maybe had a year or two here, and that Giannis now does. But LeBron, you cannot have a best player in the NBA discussion without bringing LeBron James's name up for the last 15 years. And no other player in NBA history can boast that. And that's when you're talking about the greatest players of all time, and you're looking at things that, and you're talking about things that you could argue they are the best player, basically their strengths and weaknesses when you're talking about that debate. LeBron's biggest strength is his longevity and sustained dominance. And I'm not saying LeBron's the GOAT, not a discussion I want to have right now. The difference, I think, right now with LeBron James, when you're talking about in comparison to, 3 years ago even, is I think his impact on winning basketball has diminished a little bit. And what I mean by that is when you're looking at the NBA, you do have guys who put up great stats, but don't necessarily, it doesn't necessarily always translate to winning. The greatest thing about LeBron is that his impact on winning, when you're looking at it from an offensive, defensive perspective, playmaking perspective, building teammates up, basketball IQ, which is his greatest strength probably, his impact on winning and his control of the overall game was so great, and potentially the greatest impact when it comes to the overall arc of the game ever. LeBron, just as he's gotten older, is still able to put up those numbers and still have a great impact to be one of the best players on the planet. But the reason I think he's dropped a couple spots is just because I don't think he can dominate the game in every way that he used to. Obviously, his defense is not quite as good as it used to be. That's just the reality of it. And I don't think we should hold that against him. If he's not the greatest defender in the NBA at year 19, that should certainly not be held against him. But you heard, there was a video, and I recommend going and watching it, but Iman Shumpert, LeBron's old teammate, talked about how LeBron would like be backing someone down, be dribbling, backing them down, and he'd be talking to his teammates like, hey, go here, go here, go here. And then he'd say, hey, Amon, if that guy comes at me at all, cut. He said, if he takes one step towards me, cut. And he said everything that LeBron would say would be completely accurate. And that when LeBron would say to do something, if they did it, it worked every time. And his basketball IQ is just through the roof. And that's why it's so fun to watch. And that's why I've always appreciated his game so much, because there are guys who are elite in basketball IQ. There are guys elite in skill. And he is, one of those guys that put both of them together. And I just think, so this is, again, not me saying LeBron's the best player on the planet, even though I think he's close. But I wanted to sit here and talk about the greatness and just celebrate LeBron James, celebrate Giannis Antetokounmpo. What makes these two players so great and so excellent and so fun to watch for all of us basketball fans. And I hope we get a few more years of LeBron, we'll see. And I hope we get to see some more epic playoff runs from Giannis Antetokounmpo until he runs into my Boston Celtics. And then I hope he gets destroyed. That's all I got for you today. We're going to talk more hoops. Hopefully some news comes out here soon so we can talk about that. If not, we'll keep finding content because that's what we do on Break the Silence. Appreciate y'all watching. Cyborg out.